So you guys want to hear me talk about zero space, huh? Well, let me talk about zero space. I think zero space, I honestly might be remembering this incorrectly, but I'm pretty sure the last time I played zero space was February. Let me see. Zero space last played March 28th. I don't know if I was actively playing in March. Maybe that's when the game was being played. I have no idea. But I played zero space here, as you can see on stream right now. I'll show you. I played zero space on March 28th, last played, so before March 28th for a bit, for a total of 48 hours. I played for, I feel like, about a week. It was similar to my February Stormgate experience. And my those are the thoughts I'm going off of. I have no idea. I have not been keeping up with zero space. I will still try zero space another time again when something substantial happens for that game. But I don't really want to play it actively daily. Main reason is similar with Stormgate. I just feel like I was in a state with my stream that was feeling like it was getting kind of stale for me, where I was playing StarCraft 2 ladder like every day, all day. And I was doing this since 2010. And there were definitely phases where I loved it. But towards the end, like 2018, 2019, 2020, 2021, 2022, every year that went on further and further, like the B to GM vibe era, essentially. I was like kind of getting tired of the content. I was getting burnt out. I didn't even finish my last B to GM series because I was just like, fuck this. I wasn't enjoying myself. I was hating it. I was genuinely not enjoying it. And I feel like I got out of it. And I've been kind of like reinventing myself with my stream, just allowing myself to figure out what I like. I still do love RTS. I still want to play RTS. But I don't really want to play the 1v1 isolated, like every day all I do is I log in and I play 1v1 ladder. And that's all I do. Especially when it's like a small community. I don't really want to go down that road again. So I haven't really been too invested in Stormgate, or in Zero Space, sorry. Stormgate and Zero Space are like coming out at the same time, and they're both similar in their situations right now. But I wasn't really wanting to go down that road again. And Zero Space, when I played it, the experience did feel like I was playing a StarCraft 2 level of experience. Like, it felt like it was heavily influenced by StarCraft 2. There were hero units in that game that were, if you guys watch my Stormgate video, I would refer you to go to that. And I'm not going to go through the whole thing again. Because it's a long-winded conversation about how I think heroes need to be more interesting. I'll give you the TLDR version. Heroes need levels. Heroes need progression. Heroes need power spike moments. Heroes need to be exciting. Heroes need to be more interesting. I think when a hero is just baseline, what you start with, and it never changes, I feel like it's really fucking boring. I don't like heroes when they're like that. Like Warcraft 3 is a good baseline for what I think makes an interesting hero, and it doesn't need to be an exact copy of that. You could work off of something like that as your guiding point, though, I feel like, and it would be a way more interesting version of a hero. That's the TLDR version. So I don't really like the hero aspect in Zero Space, and then also Zero Space has like no plans, as far as I understand, outside of like 1v1 ladder scene, like a 1v1 competitive scene, and campaign. And I know there's a lot of campaign lovers out there, and that's completely cool. I know I'm not going to say that you're wrong, but me personally, I honestly don't care about campaign. The campaign part of Zero Space does not interest me in like at all. I really do not care about campaign. So I care about like versus modes and competitive modes and stuff like that. And I feel like that game is just it's very similar to like, I'm going to just play like a StarCraft 2 alteration. It's like I'm playing like an alternate timeline of StarCraft 2 is what it kind of felt like. And it had some different stuff in it too. It had like like towers, like control points and stuff like that, and it would like give you like experience. I think the talent system in Zero Space was cool. I liked it overall. I liked what it was trying to be. I personally didn't like it that much though for what it did to your game, because I feel like it didn't really do much. I feel like I want more chaotic, crazy, like game-changing stuff. And I also feel like if there was some way to have any level of balance there that would make it to where like there's not just one thing that's OP that everybody does on repeat, then even better, right? But I feel like something like that does take time to hammer out. So Zero Space is another game where I feel like I would be willing to come back to it in time and try it again. And maybe they've made a lot of work on it. And I'm like, dude, this game is sick. Really cool. But I feel like Zero Space also didn't seem to have much of an emphasis, and it's also an early build. So again, you have to like give games time to develop and stuff like that. But there was no emphasis in that game with community focused stuff either. I feel like with like, again, this is a conversation I just talked about, like a good baseline Stormgate video. I just said everything for like an hour. But to give you a TLDR version again for right now for this Zero Space video, I feel like Warcraft 3 baseline, don't have to copy it exactly, but it's a good guiding point for like what you could work off of. Clan ranks, clan channels, clan communities, and then some type of like tournaments where clans, if you're in like the top clans, you can like play in tournaments, or even if you're in bottom clans, you could be in like lower level tournaments, like bronze tournaments, silver tournaments, whatever. Just things that would be fun for you to like represent your clan with, represent your community with, ways you could have pride, ways you could, things that you could be interested about with other people who play the game. And this also creates an ecosystem of people where you can meet and play the game with, while not having to meet someone while they're currently in the middle of a game with you, while every time you type to them, they're probably like more or less saying, STFU, I'm trying to play, stop talking to me. I don't want to talk to you right now. I'm in the middle of trying to play the game as well. Like, it's a horrible community feature, I would say, when the only way you can talk to other players on the game realistically is if, number one, they're already on your friends list. Number two, it's just a general chat where everybody gets filtered into, and it's just one chat. It's like a cesspool, and no one wants to type in there because it always turns into people wanting to be edgy and just putting edgy chat in there, and everyone else is like, I'm not going to type in there, bro. It's just stupid. And then that's the second one. And then the first one was friends list, I think is what I said. And the third one is you just like, it's like in the middle of a game. It's like, oh, I'm playing, someone else is playing in the game. Like they're my 1v1 opponent. And I'm like, hey, how are you doing, man? What's up? How long have you been playing this game for? And they're like, stop talking to me. Are you cheesing me? It's like everyone turns into this like, please don't fucking talk to me. I need to play the game. And I understand that. It's not that not everyone wants to play when it's like, if I talk to you, everything's going to be bad for me because I'm going to be thrown off. Like, it makes sense that people wouldn't want to talk there. But I feel like it doesn't make sense where you don't have an avenue where people can actually like have a way to care and to have fun. And I don't think that streaming should be like, all the weight should be on like a Twitch chat or like a Discord. Because not everyone's going to use these apps. Not everyone watches Twitch. Not everyone fucking gets on Discord. It's like you already segregate the community so hard by like saying, if you buy this game, it's like telling a World of Warcraft player to play this, you have to get all these add-ons just before you can actually play the game, just so you know. Like it's annoying. Like you don't want to have to like do all these extra variables so that you can be properly in the community now. And I feel like a lot of people won't even actually realize that's even happening, especially if they're super casual. Like if you got a super casual guy that's like, oh, I bought the game, I want to try it. And then he gets on, he's like, what the fuck is this chat? And he has no desire to meet anyone in the game. And then he talks to one guy and he's like, fuck you. And then, cause I don't want to talk right now. Cause I'm cheesing you at the moment, whatever. It's just like a not good experience. So I feel like there should be some emphasis on like, and this is a conversation topic that I've had in the past, or like tried to talk about in the past, and it's met by a good amount of resistance. Like people are like, Vibe, you're dumb. No one cares about that. And then we all wonder why like no one's playing RTS at the same time. I feel like these things do matter. And I feel like there's a reason why, for instance, even though I say RTS is my favorite genre, and it really is, I still have like fond memories of a battle royale game called PUBG, and I still have fond memories of a MMO game called World of Warcraft. Like, there's definitely ways that games can introduce community and ways games can foster a community, and it can be more interesting. Because I'm going to tell you right now, like PUBG is a recent game that I played in the last like 6 years, where I had so much fun on it that it's definitely a top 3 game for me of all time. There was so many good moments on that game, and I'll tell you right now, probably 5% of those moments came from solos, like single one-man squads. And most of them, like 95% of them, came from squads, came from 2-man, 3-man, 4-man squads. Like, I had so many good times on squads. And I feel like whenever a game does not offer an experience like that, it's just shooting itself in the foot. I feel like it needs to have something in some way that makes people actually have fun being on the game, even if they're not really good at it, or something like that. Vibe, what is the most community-driven game in your opinion? Probably World of Warcraft. Like, literally. Just think about it like this. World of Warcraft is a game where you log in, and the game does not force you to play with other people right off the bat. But if you did, it would make your life easier. If you play with someone else, there are some quests in that game and some activities in that game where if you play with someone else, it could arguably make you play slower, especially if the person's like bad. But there's a lot of times in that game where if you just have someone else there, your life would be easier and you can now do things that you wouldn't otherwise have been able to do by yourself. So the game by default rewards you by communicating with another player. And then on top of that, there are then activities where you physically can't do it by yourself in any threshold where it would matter to you. Like, you can obviously get level 70 or some shit and go back and do level 20 content by yourself, and it doesn't matter anymore. But if you're like level 22 and you're doing a dungeon that's made for a level 24 group of players, you would not be able to solo that dungeon until you're probably 20 levels over it, or like 15 levels over it for like the average player. Again, if you're like the world's best player, this is not who the game should be balanced around. We're not talking about that specifically. If someone's like, there's a guy who can do it at the exact level because he knows all the jump spots and all the kite locations and all the reset spots, like, not everyone's going to fucking know that. Of course, like, that's possible, but that's not the average player. The average player is going to go in there, pull a fucking pull, and be like, oh, I'm dead. Apparently, I'm not supposed to be here. So, like, it requires a group. And then, like, the game rewards you in the party if you're able to overcome it. And it's not the most difficult thing to overcome either. It's not like the World of Warcraft is the most challenging game. But it's a game that creates obstacles that you can overcome. And some obstacles are also only overcomable if you have friends, or like, quote unquote friends, like a party going in there with you. And if they are friends, if it's someone who becomes a friend, but what if you play with someone and you're like, man, this guy's good at mage, this guy's good at warrior, he's a really good tank. Hey bro, you want to do another one? And it's like, the guy's like, you're really good at healing, you're really good at DPS, whatever the fuck. Like, it creates an easy system where people actually are incentivized to play together. And then even furthermore, like, if you're a guild leader in World of Warcraft, you could be like a project planner, because you're like, all right, I need to get these 40 people to group up and do what I'm saying. And not only like do what I'm saying, but also be here at a certain time, and we're going to make a schedule, and we're all going to try to plan this out. And then you're going to like also like have people like coming and going as time goes on. Cause sometimes people quit, sometimes people join, you rotate people in and out and stuff. And you have a community experience. And again, the game rewards you for communicating with people, because if you can get everyone on the same page, understanding what's going on, then you don't have Timmy who wipes the raid fucking 30 times in a row because he stands in the middle of everyone with a bomb on him and he blows everybody up. Everyone could be like, hey, Timmy, would you mind moving to the left? And then Timmy will be like, yeah. And he walks to the left and he blows up by himself, and then no one dies. Stuff like that. Like, the game, again, it's designed to be played as a group. It's designed, and then also like, then you have gear, and you have like the reward, right? You get a lot of salty drama over the reward, because some people are like, I want it, no, I want it, and then someone gets it, and everyone's like, I'm gonna quit if I don't get it. And it's just like reasons to remember why you care, and that even if you're not having fun at a certain point in time, you are having fun when you get the drop, and it goes to you, and like blah blah blah. There's like all these different tiers of like social inside World of Warcraft, and it's fun. And like, and another one that exists is like, there's like a lobby, an area where people can queue for something called arena, and then they're all chilling, and maybe even they're dueling each other to like, it's almost like just like let's practice, or let's do a fun skill check for each other, or shit talk and then duel, or whatever. There's all these different reasons why people could duel, and then you have like this. It's like this, whether you realize it or not, it's a group thing that is being represented in many different ways, other than just look at my ladder rank that I earned by myself. Do you see that? I'm rank 7, guys. What do you think about that? I did it all by myself. I talked to nobody the entire time. And then no one celebrates that with you because you're not fucking doing it with anybody, right? Like if you're a streamer who plays the game, then that's it. That's fine. Like that is a thing. You can have a community celebrating your stuff with you. But if you're a player, if I was not a streamer and I was just like, and I was also not a pro gamer, but I got like rank 73 GM, and let's say that's my best I've ever done, and I'm like, fuck yeah, I got rank 73 GM. And it's like, what did I get to get there? It's like a lot of players were calling me names and dropping slurs at me and saying negative things, because it's just a ladder experience that you get. It can be kind of toxic sometimes, especially when a community is small, and then you get people who are bored and kind of lash out and stuff like that. And it's like, all you got was a bunch of shit talked to you the entire time. And then it's like, and then you're like, well, who cares that I did it? Who in what way do I feel cool and accomplished that I did this? It's like, I guess the only option I got is making a Reddit thread. Maybe people will be like, good for you. You got GM. Good job, dude. Oh my God. I thought I wasn't going to cry. I got GM today. Oh my God. Like, no one fucking cares at the end of the day, really. Like, because there's no community focus in any way in the game. It's really just like, how's Cyril doing? Do you see Clem? Oh my God. Did you guys see Rainer's game? Did you guys see Moru versus Dark? Like, yeah, sure. These players that are pro gamers are celebrated, and that's great. I think that's great. I don't think that's a bad thing. We definitely understand how to celebrate the very top, but like, I feel like somewhere along the way we forgot to remember what it's like to actually have fun playing a game, and a lot of players who play the game that aren't the world's best get no recognition for anything that they're doing in an RTS game. No one gives two fucks about what you're doing, because the game is designed in a way to make it not give a fuck. Like, no one, again, there's no events, there's no community focused things at all besides a tournament, where unless you want to travel to the tournament, it's kind of hard to say, hey, are you a casual? Do you not play this game to make a living? Well, guess what? You could buy a plane ticket and a hotel room and all your food and Ubers and whatever else you're going to pay for, and come play this event and get knocked out in round 2 by a pro gamer. Does that sound fun? You can meet all your favorite pros that do play for money. And it's like, yeah, some people might be like, that sounds fucking sick. Sign me up. They're hardcore, right? But not everyone's hardcore. A lot of people probably would look at that and go, I don't got money for that. I can't afford that. I don't got time for that. I can't take time off school. I can't take time off work. I got shit I got to do. I got responsibilities. I wouldn't even win. So what's the point? Like, and then maybe they're not super diehard into streaming and pro scene, and they don't care really. They're not like, look, it's not like they're meeting like their version of their celebrities. They're just casuals who just don't care. And they just never will care, because they don't really have an opportunity to care. And there's no like level of entry there for these people unless they're like a hardcore like tournament watcher. So I just feel like Zerospace, StarCraft 2, Stormgate, these games are kind of forgetting what those things mean. And like, that sucks. Like, I feel like that's not good. There was so many times, so many days I would log in to Warcraft 3, and I understand it's a different time. It's like before Skype, it's before Discord, it's before like all these social platforms, it's before social media. But back in the day, back in my day, I used to log in to Warcraft 3 with the intention of playing the game, and sometimes I wouldn't actually play it for an hour, because I would go to my favorite clan spot, clan Lux, clan net, clan whatever, clan for show, baby. And I would sit there for an hour talking to somebody that's like, oh shit, yo, Cold Fusion, what's up, bro? Let's talk for a little bit. And I'm like, what up, man? And I just talk to them for a little bit, and maybe it's a friend of mine, maybe it's someone I already like, maybe it's someone I know, maybe it's someone who's talking shit, and I'm like, you want a fucking 1v1? You know, whatever. It's an interesting conversation. But people, there were like friends that I literally made because of this. So many friends that I made because of this. The friends list capacity back then was 25 people, and I made so many friends on the game without even having any form of social media, because it was just, there was like reasons to actually care about the people who were on the game as well. And a lot of times when your only interaction with someone else who's actually on the game is currently competing against them, you're not going to get to know them that well. Usually you're going to be like, you know what? If I would have talked to this guy for like 10 minutes, I probably would have liked him. But this motherfucker is 2 racks proxying me, and he's going mass reapers. I think he's scum. He's scum of the earth. He's a POS. He's a piece of shit. I don't like him. I hate him. And every time he talks, you're like, oh, that guy's so annoying. He's such a shitty player. Like, you just like justify all these reasons in your head why you hate them, because you had your first experience with them is watching them cheese you or something like that. And I feel like people tend to negatively associate each other a lot in, you know, these 1v1 communities. And it's like, it's gotten so bad that when I was a pro gamer with StarCraft 2, I would be at events and people would literally say things to me, like sentences like this. They'd be like, hey Vibe, I'm sorry, I'm just like a platinum player. Never got better than that, but just wanted to say something. And then they would like justify like, hey, I suck, sorry. And I'm like, I don't give a shit. Like, that's fine. You don't have to like be of a certain league to talk to me. I don't care. Like, you're a human being. It's totally fine. You can talk to me. You can tell me your thoughts. That's totally fine. Doesn't mean I don't have to agree with you on what you say either, but like, you're more than allowed to talk. It's completely fine. And obviously they're going to talk anyways, but like they feel embarrassed because of their rank. And it's like, who fucking cares? Like, if you play more, you're going to get better. If you play less, you're not going to get better. That's just simple as that. But if the game actually felt like it wasn't such like a elitist experience just to get into it in the first place, which is kind of what I think zerospace is doing, by the way. This is the whole reason why I'm talking about this. I feel like zerospace is going down the elitist road as well, which is like, if you're not good, that door says campaign. Go play that. But if you are good, that door says multiplayer. That window says multiplayer. And that's for 1v1 badasses only. And if you're not GM, don't talk. Like, I like the tryhardness of it all. I am a tryhard myself. But at the same time, I really miss gaming with my friends whenever I play RTS. And the only time I play games with my friends anymore nowadays is not on RTS. I auto battlers, I'll play with my buddies. MMO games, I'll play with friends. FPS games, I'll play with friends, but not RTS. RTS is definitely like, hey dude, let me ask you a question. Do you know the 34 things that you need to be covering in every single game you play within the first 3 minutes? And there's something about, I don't know. I don't know what that means. What are you talking about? Well, I don't want to play with you then, because you're too bad. Like, you're not good at this game yet. You need to go learn that. Let me make a beta GM series for you. It's so fucking elitist. And I feel like we've normalized how elitist it is. And again, I think that it's great that games are hard and you can excel with skill and you can shine and there's a high skill ceiling for player expression. I love all these things, but I feel like it's not the only thing that matters. And I feel like when it becomes the only thing that matters in most people's heads, it's when everyone gets in the mindset of, I'd rather just watch. I don't really want to play. I'd rather just watch someone else play, because, you know, that sounds exhausting. I don't really feel like putting myself through that. And then when you're the one who does play, you're like, oh my God, it's you and me. We just played 13 games yesterday. Let's do it again today, because no one else is playing. It's fucking true. I feel like that is actually real. So I feel like zerospace needs to, what does zerospace need to do? Zerospace needs to, I don't fucking know. Make the game, honestly, I want the game to be more interesting. I want it to be less of a StarCraft 2 clone. I want it to be, some form of making me care about things that are not just like the absolute being the best 1v1 player in the world, because when you put enough time to be that into that, it gets lonely when you get closer and closer to the top. The more you get close to the top, the more lonely it becomes, and it happens sooner than you might think it does when the community is already small. So I want more things that incentivize people to actually play the game, and actually, like, more than just saying, I'm going to play the campaign. I think campaigns are totally fine. I have no problem with campaigns, but I feel like if we just like start an RTS thinking that like, oh, the campaign is for everyone who does not try hard, like, or co-op, those modes fucking suck. Personally, to me, I think they suck. I feel like they're fun. The campaign is fun one time. I do not like speedrunning campaigns. I do not like replaying campaigns. I don't want to do the same thing repeatedly, where it's like, hey, Commander, we got Marines only. Get over there and kill that base, but make sure you make 7 Marines before you do. And then only use Marines, because that's the only thing we can do right now in this campaign mission. It's okay. I think if the campaign was a little bit more RNG, like I gotta say, like probably one of the most fun campaigns I played was They Are Billions, but there was some absolute problems with that campaign as well. I'm not saying it's perfect, but at least like some of the survival missions were kind of fun. But it's like, because it's like a tower defense, more or less. It feels like it's like a microable tower defense. But then once you figure out what works, it gets boring. You're just like, oh, I already know how to beat it. And there needs to be some like another one would be like The Last Spell. That game has a campaign. That actually is an even better example. The Last Spell is fun. The reason why it's fun is because it's challenging, and it stops becoming challenging once you know what to do, because you understand. You go, oh, if I make this ability or this type of damage, whatever my units are, like I'm gonna make like 4 siege tanks. I can't die anymore. I learned that. Like, you learn what works, and once you know that, it's so much like the level of interest is just like it just goes way down, and you're like, okay, if I play it again, how do I make it more interesting this time? Do I want to just do it again? The exact same thing? Do I want to optimize it a little bit and min max my like? Last time I beat it in 22 minutes and 17 seconds, but this time I might beat it in 21 minutes and 30 seconds. Shave off 47 seconds off of my timer. I think I can't remember the number I said, but you get the point. Like, that doesn't sound that exciting, but then at the same time, like, if the game has like, for like these like the people that are like purists that are like, I have to like beat the most difficult thing, I think there's a level of interest there again, where it's like you can now play on like extreme because you beat it already, and now it's like everything is harder, and it's tuned in a way that's interesting and fun, and it's difficult, and it's like if you don't know what you're doing, you'll die. But if you do know what you're doing, then it's a difficult experience, and it's like something you can overcome, and it's just like a fun process. But again, even that, I still think that can be good. But once you beat it, and once you again know what to do, once you've figured out like the perfect method of like how to beat it, the level of interest goes away heavily, and I would assume it does. At least for me, it would. I would not be like, once I beat something that's on like on extra hard mode, I just want to do that every day now, the same way every time. Like, I definitely prefer playing a real player, because you get a random experience, because you don't know exactly what they're always going to do. There's a level of variety there. They're not coded to do like one thing repeatedly. So again, campaigns, I think, can be fun and interesting, but I feel like it's not really like the answer to like what RTSs need. I feel like the fact that it exists as an option is fine, but I feel like it's not the alternative. It's not like try hard or campaign, because I feel like if that's again, that's the perceived mindset I get from zerospace. And I feel like I could play zerospace if I'm in a sweaty mood. If I'm just like, you know what, I want to fucking macro. I want to play at 450 APM right now for the next 5 hours today, because I'm just going to grind ladder games. Like, it can serve that purpose, and if you're in the mood of that, it can be fun. I do think there are redeeming elements of that game that seemed fun. Like, it actually has composition and actual fights with micro and stuff. Like, it exists in that game. But I really do feel like these things. Another example I'll give you is I had so much more fun playing ladder as a ladder player, I had so much more fun playing ladder in Wings of Liberty than in any other version of StarCraft 2 in terms of just my personal experience. And the number one reason why is not because of the units that existed in the game. It's not because of the abilities. It's not because of like factors that were literally in the game, as much as the community size in Wings of Liberty was enormous. You would play ladder, and it was rare to play the same person more than 2 to 3 times in the same day. Like you get on, you play 30 games, and it's like you will genuinely have 25 different unique opponents. And when you play in 2024 or like 2022, if you're, at the upper level, you'll play and you'll have 5 unique opponents in 25 games. You'll play one guy 13 times. You'll play one guy 6 times, blah, 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 blah. We're at 19 right now. You could add it up to 25. Like you'll just play a lot more of repetitiveness, and it's not as exciting when it's like that.
Stormgate SC3? So, JKJK.
The repetitiveness is not a great thing, and the elitist aspect of it all, where like you just I can't speak anymore. You disincentivize people to like get in the scene because it's like, they got to overcome a hurdle right away just to be involved. I feel like it's no worries about that mess. It's fine. Once you get like, it just basically the point I'm trying to make is more people make the game more interesting because you have a lot more variety. Less people make the game less interesting because you get a lot more repetitiveness, and you can really feel it. And then you get players that like start getting really bored, and they start hitting these like brick walls that they never really overcome. So they start going on this like, how many accounts do you have right now? I'm on my 47th account today because at least I have some semblance of progression, even though I'm just repeatedly going from new account to where I was over and over. Like it just gets boring. And I feel like that's where every RTS game is going to be going down that tunnel again if we never really recapitalize what creates a community in a game. So zerospace needs, just like Stormgate does, more reasons why a community would care, I feel like. And the game itself also, I really think that game needs a rework on its own hero design. I feel like the heroes in zerospace are not fun either. And yeah, just time for development is a huge one for both of them. But I don't know. It's harder for me. So I'm doing this also just to say it out loud right now, just so you guys understand. I'm doing a zerospace video as a request for people because I just did the Stormgate video. I recently played Stormgate. I have not played zerospace for the last 5 months though. So this is all from memory. Maybe I should have made this video a while ago. My bad. But yeah, I don't really feel like I'm doing zerospace as much justice as I should be. It's just, it does have similar problems to what Stormgate does, where it feels like they're just trying to copy like StarCraft 2 as like a baseline, and I feel like that's a mistake. I feel like Warcraft 3 is such a better baseline for both of those games, and then work around it. And yeah, it's people who didn't play Warcraft 3. I wish you could have back then. It's not the same experience nowadays in Warcraft 3 as it was when Warcraft 3 was actually like the main RTS game that people were playing. There was like a fostered level of community that existed there that was a really fun thing to be a part of. And then it evolved into like a custom game scene as well. And this evolved into other games that you probably know a lot more nowadays, like Dota 2, for instance. Like Dota was literally a custom game community in Warcraft 3 before it became Dota 2. Which is it was so fun to be a part of stuff like that. So I really want some more community aspect-y stuff in these new RTS games that I kind of just explained a little bit. Just to start, like we can definitely theorycraft and deep dive these things more and more and more and come up with a lot of ideas from a lot of people. But baseline, there's like no semblance of community in these games, and I really wish there was, because I feel like it's just going to keep the game forever small, and it'll alienate most people who even want to play, and they'll just recede to, I'll just watch. Which is kind of what's happening, I feel like, in RTS a lot lately. So those are my thoughts. That's kind of what I think overall. I would love, I love RTS. It's my favorite genre overall. I have had so many cool moments with RTS in my life that made me the gamer I am today. And I want RTS to thrive and succeed. But currently I don't feel like it's doing it. And there's a lot of reasons for that, but those reasons would maybe push it a little bit, like one step further in the right direction, I feel, if they were addressed. But anyways, I guess I'm going to leave it there on zerospace. It's the game itself, honestly, was fine. I just feel like it was too similar to like what I was experiencing in StarCraft 2 in my 1v1 ladder days. It was just like I was playing that again in a new skin is what it felt like. And it just by default had like a small community because it felt like a lot of people that would probably approach that game would probably be really confused. And they'd be like, huh, I don't know the fuck's going on. I have no idea what's going on in this game. And it's a lot. It's almost like the mindset of like Path of Exile 1, where like if you just show up and play the game, you're going to just get destroyed by everything. So you have to like follow a build guide to like have an idea what you're doing for like the average player. And I feel like it's just, and if there's no other ways for people to care, I feel like it's just not going to grow a community like with that kind of design. Overall, I don't know. Again, I also might be completely talking shit. Just throw it out there. I don't think everything I say is also like set in stone perfect. You guys can definitely dissect things that I say and disagree with me. That's totally fine. But overall, those are my thoughts as of today in 2024. And we're 2/3 of the way through the year right now. That's how I feel about RTS right now. But anyways, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed this as well. I'll post this video and the Stormgate video later today. And if you're watching this on YouTube, thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye, guys.